Hey friends, today I'm building a paint and sip studio and nectar bar for my date night series. Let's check it out. So I'm back in Magnolia Promenade and I decided to build on this really large lot here and do kind of a multi-use building. So this is kind of inspired by late 1800s, early 1900s kind of Main Street USA architecture. If you've ever lived in a small town or even visited them, this will probably seem familiar. At least that's the goal. Though I will say there wasn't, I don't know, there weren't quite the right windows and doors and things to do exactly what I wanted. But hopefully the, feeling kind of comes through. I also kind of switched the orientation of the lot here just for the better lighting, but I'll switch it back once it's finished. But yeah, so I'm going to do 3 different community sort of lots and then a couple different apartments. Still trying to figure out how many apartments I want to do. Kind of depends how much space I'll need for some of the commercial spaces. But yeah, this first one, if you're not really familiar with like a paint and sip, they're kind of, I guess, stores or like experiences you can do where you get to paint something and have some sort of usually alcoholic drink, usually wine. It's kind of a big thing. So yeah, so I thought it would be fun to do kind of an art studio space, and then I did kind of like a nectar bar, for The Sims 4. Since they don't have wine, they use nectar and juice and things. But yeah, I used quite a few things from Horse Ranch for that. So this will be the smallest of the commercial spaces. I did it kind of on the end here. And right now I'm adding stairs that will eventually go up to the apartments, which will be on the 3rd floor. So my plan right now is each commercial space will have 2 levels. So for this one, kind of the art studio's on the 1st floor, and then I do kind of a small bar and then the nectar making space upstairs. I thought it would probably make more sense to have nectar like in a basement, but since I'm already doing multiple levels, above ground, I thought it would make more sense just to use that. And I wanted this space to have a little bit more of a historic feel, so it's not quite as like renovated and polished. So I really like these wood floors that I went with here. They feel kind of original to the building. If this had been built in the early 1900s, so yeah, they got that kind of like rougher look to them. And I'll also end up doing like paint splatters on them, so I imagine they're not as concerned about the floors since they're a bit beat up, a bit older. So I thought that made sense. And yeah, I do kind of like a wash up area here in the back with these counters, and I ended up using pretty much everything from the artist studio kit. So yeah, if you want to download this, it won't be on the gallery until at least I finish all the commercial spaces. I might do 2 versions to the gallery, one with just the commercial and then one with like the apartments and everything kind of all finished. But yeah, you'll definitely want to have the studio kit, at least if you want to use it like I've got it set up here, because I use basically every item from that kit. And the front windows that I used, these sort of bay windows, I guess they're from Laundry Day stuff, which I didn't even realize any windows came with that stuff pack. So I was kind of excited to find these. I don't think I certainly hadn't noticed them before. I've probably seen them and just didn't register it. But yeah, I think those worked out really well, because I'll have quite a few plants in here, and I think they work well for getting plenty of light on the plants. So yeah, that worked out really nicely. And yeah, here I'm doing kind of these paint splatters that came with that kit. They came in a bunch of different colors, so I tried to layer them so it didn't look too repetitive and whatnot. But yeah, I think that worked out really nicely. And I've got these different items that'll be kind of in between the easels that maybe they're painting from reference. So there's quite a few things from the kit, and then I add in just a bunch of plants and a couple of other kind of sculpture items. And yeah, I think that really filled out the space well, made it make sense. And this is the second video in my date night build series that I'm doing. The first one, if you missed it, I did an Art Deco kind of inspired movie theater that has a restaurant and a bar in it. So I'll link that here if you want to check that out. That was a lot of fun to put together. And yeah, I'm really excited about this build. You know, I really wanted to do something with a lot of different uses because I really wanted to try to make Magnolia Promenade a little bit more useful. If you have this world, you're probably familiar with it, and yeah, just not a lot going on here. They're pretty much all retail spaces, which, you know, I guess makes sense because it came with Get to Work, but the builds aren't that great. No offense to whoever made them on the Sims team, but yeah, you know, I don't know if we needed 4 different retail spaces here. I just kind of wish they would have done at least a couple more lots. Like, I don't know, it's one of the smallest worlds and just not super useful. So yeah, I just wanted to have a lot of different uses here. Within this building, like I said, I'm going to do a cafe, and then I'm also going to do a thrift store / bubble tea shop. That one I might also make it so you can use it as a retail lot if you wanted to, you know, as if you're like running a thrift store. So different maybe furniture pieces in there, I think would be kind of fun. Since that will be the largest space in the building, because I kind of already did the layout when I started the video, if you noticed, because I wanted to try and figure out you know, how much space I would need for each of the stores. So yeah, that one will be the largest, and then yeah, then the apartments will be kind of on the uppermost level of the building, and I think that will work out well. I'm excited for that. And here I realized I needed to add some stairs so you could actually get to the upper level. So I decided to add them over here, and I think that worked out well. I was going to use this backdrop item from the kit, but it didn't really fit, so I just got rid of it. I wasn't really sure if it would even be that useful in the space. But of course, you could always add that back if you wanted to. And this space, I actually also made sure you could use it as an art center. I think that's the lot type from, yeah, art center from City Living, I think is where that one came from. So if you wanted to use this as an art center, you could do that as well. Because it only needed like, just needed some easels and it needed a musical instrument. So I ended up putting a piano upstairs, kind of in the bar area. So you could use that. You could use the slot for that if you wanted to. But yeah, I just added a couple of small bathrooms down here, just so Sims have somewhere they can use those. And then I also did this kind of storage, utility, employee space, which was actually a suggestion on my last video from someone. So thank you for that. That was a really great tip. I think it definitely makes it feel a little bit more like a real business, like commercial space. So yeah, there's just some storage items back here. Like these canvas racks, which are great. I think those might just be base game, maybe one of the ones that you unlock. So yeah, I added those in there, these kind of blank canvases, some lockers, maybe for their, you know, the employees, assuming there, you know, were any. And I was going to try and use those kind of prop items, but it was too big, so I got rid of that. But yeah, I like this space. It's kind of, you know, it's not super, you know, actually usable in the game, but you know, I think it really kind of adds to the feeling of the space and makes it feel like a real business. Yeah. And I've actually never been to one of these paint and sip places, so I know like the layout's a little bit different in real life. You know, usually you're at a table and you have like a, you know, tabletop easel instead of these standing ones in the game. But yeah, let me know if you've ever been to one of these. They look like a lot of fun, even though I would definitely be a terrible painter, but I think it'd be a good time for sure. But yeah, I think that'd be a really great item for the game too, is like a tabletop easel that you could, you know, have your Sims sit and paint instead. But yeah, I'm just glad that they added more easels, honestly, in this kit. I think that was really great. I really like the kit, actually. It's got a lot of really nice pieces in it, and they're all, they'll look really nice too, which is, you know, not always the case. So, you know, kudos to them. And I was struggling a bit here with the different floor trims and I think they're just floor trims. I don't think these are technically freezes, but yeah, I really dislike how they start cutting into stuff when you like delete floors and walls and things. I would love a revamp of those. That would be really great, especially if they added a few more options. I know we get one every once in a while in a pack, but they feel kind of neglected among the different, building items in the game. So yeah, I would love some more floor trims, more freezes in different styles. That'd be great, especially if it was just in the base game, just to give a little bit more versatility. And then yeah, I added in some columns here for this upper level. I kind of wanted it open below. I thought that would be nice. And yeah, this will be kind of where the bar area is, and then in the back is where the employees can make the nectar. There's going to be a storage area back there too. And yeah, it took me a minute to figure out what kind of bar and then the bar back that I wanted to use. So I kind of sped up a little bit here, just kind of blast through me picking out different items. But yeah, I kind of go with a more basic bar, and then I did the bar back that came with Strangerville, just because it was a little bit more interesting and it felt like it fit the kind of art vibe that the rest of the studio has, with this kind of eclectic mix of items. And yeah, I just wanted the whole space to feel really colorful and bright. So yeah, a lot of different kinds of pieces throughout. I think this one might be the one from Get Together. I don't quite remember, but I really like the stained glass piece in it. I thought that was really fun. Just added, a little bit more interest to this piece. And yeah, here's the piano that I added. And of course it had to be one that was, all painted out and everything, since it's, in this kind of artistic space. And I ended up adding this desk or workbench from the Crystal Creations stuff pack. Since in order for this to be classified as an art center, it needed an activity table, and that one counted, and I thought that one fit in a little bit better than the like kids activity tables, because I don't really imagine this being a space for children really, with all the nectar sipping and all of that. So yeah, I went with that one. I think that worked out nicely. It fit in there. It was just like another pop of color too downstairs, which was nice. And yeah, adding in some tables up here, because I also made this be functional as a bar if you wanted to use this as a bar lot. So just adding in some different items, added in a jukebox. I thought that was kind of fun. And the dartboard, which I don't really use that much, so it was kind of nice to get that in here. I think that was one that came with one of those events that they did a while back, one of the free rewards. So yeah, I got that in there. And then yeah, I think these lights are from the Blooming Rooms kit with like the hanging plant on them, which I thought fit in really well, a little bit different for the space. I thought that worked out really well. And then I had to add in a TV in order for this to work as a bar. So I did one of the frame ones just so it looked a little bit more like a piece of art. I'm also hoping it's not too distracting for your Sims, because they do love to watch TV wherever one is. So yeah, might have to get rid of that if it's a little bit too distracting if you're wanting to paint and stuff. But yeah, I haven't play tested this lot yet. I'll probably do that once I finish all of the commercial spaces at least, and then kind of do all of the testing and the video tour and all of that once I finish those. So at the end of this video, there are some screenshots, but I didn't do a video tour with Sims like in the space yet. So I'll do that once I finish all of them. And then here, I just kind of sped through when I was picking out a bunch of different items to put around the space. I thought, it'd be great to have a bunch of different pieces of art, all over the place, a lot of, different pops of color, things like that. So yeah, I wanted to bring that through. One thing is I was kind of debating if I wanted to add curtains. I think that would have certainly looked a little bit nicer, but I don't think it would have been, as maybe realistic in a commercial space like this. Maybe some blinds or something. But yeah, maybe I'll go back through and add some like other touches if I remember them. And yeah, if you have any thoughts, please let me know. I'd love to hear them. since it's going to take me a little while to get through this whole lot. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. And then here in this space is where the nectar making all happens. So I did, one area that will have the actual nectar making item in, and then I did kind of a small storage room, mostly because I wanted there to be some windows in this space. But you don't really want natural light in a space where you're storing really any kind of alcohol, but I think a wine is maybe especially sensitive. I'm not really sure, but I know that usually you store that like underground or like in some sort of like temperature controlled dark space. So I didn't want windows in there, but I do end up adding a couple in this space, and then I did some counters and a sink that would probably be useful in something like this. So I do wish we had a more modern looking nectar press or some other sort of item for that. But I know it came with Horse Ranch, and that was kind of the aesthetic, which is fair. But yeah, I always just want, a little bit more, just some more options, just so that pieces are a little bit more versatile in different spaces. I really wish that was something that the Sims team would maybe take into account a little bit more, is just making pieces work in different sorts of environments. Because, obviously you're not always making nectar presses in like a Western sort of setting. So yeah, that would have been nice, but it's still a really kind of fun game item. So I'm glad that it's at least in the game for sure. And yeah, now I'm kind of working on the front of the build, and honestly the front and like the exterior of the build will probably change a bit as I go through, and especially once I turn the lot back around the right way, just so it fits into the environment a little bit better. But I wanted to at least get kind of a jump start on this. I ended up adding a mural space on the outside as well, since that was required for it to be an art center lot. But the funny thing is, once I turn the lot around, it's going to be right next to the mural that I added to the theater lot that I already did. So not quite ideal, but I don't know. I think it'll be fine. But yeah, so there'll be a couple spaces to do murals here. And yeah, so I also added this sort of kind of, loading area, kind of back area for the build. So that might, change a bit too as I do the other lots. But I thought this would be kind of a nice to have for, especially like the thrift store, maybe the cafes are getting deliveries of things. That could work out well there. And then, yeah, just kind of finishing up with the top of the build. I'll do the other ones, as I do them. The other lot, like the other spaces, But yeah, just kind of doing some final details on the outside. And then, yeah, that'll pretty much wrap it up for this one. Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I've got the other ones will be coming out, hopefully one more this week, and then next week, and then that'll finish the commercial spaces for this lot. So yeah, make sure to subscribe if you want to see those, and leave a like if you enjoyed. That helps a lot. And yeah, thanks again, and have a great day.